Hi guys and gals, this is Alex from A&R Design, and today we're going to talk about the Taurus TX22. This is a neat little pistol here. FRTs are a topic of hot conversation now that everyone's trying to FRT everything. We got our FRT for the TX22 from Freedom Fingers. I was heavily inspired, mainly inspired by a gentleman on Instagram, Pew Culture. He is a huge advocate for these Taurus TX22s, and then when the FRT came out for them, he started posting videos of these things having cyclic rates around 1800 to 2000 RPM. And I said, that's cool, I need that. We don't have a full auto 22 at A&R Design. We've got a lot of machine guns, but not a full auto 22. And what a low barrier to entry to make a not full auto, but a forced reset triggered 22 that simulates full auto style fire. This is a really cool package. Making these function well is not the easiest. Now, without a suppressor, these Taurus TX22s run pretty consistently without a suppressor, but sometimes they're still fast. That depends on the ammo that you're using. So we're gonna go through ammunition today, talk about ammos that I've played with, what runs best in it. You do have to add weight, so we'll just go through the build really quick. I'm running a very old Gemtech GM22. This is the one can that runs consistently well on this build. It is a very lightweight aluminum slide and it's skeletonized, so it's missing weight. There's folks on the internet that are putting tire weights, like the balance weights for your tires, and sticking them to the slide to add weight to this to slow it down. I also added the tandem cross halo loop in the back, which I am considering drilling and tapping the back here so I can thread in a stainless steel nut. I was actually gonna, thread it through and put a nut on the inside to add some more mass to the back of the slide to just create that dwell and that lag. Pew Culture, if you have the non-optic ready slides, he's cutting them for acros. The acro offers a lot of weight here. And I also think Pew Culture is coming out with his own weighted tail hook type design here just to add some more mass to it to smooth it out. And the competition models that have the fully skeletonized exposed barrel, some people are able to get those to run. I am also using like classic get it at AutoZone red axle grease in here. Instead of Breakthrough Clean Lube that I use for all my guns, I'm putting grease in here. And as this gun gets dirty and gummed up, it actually functions better. So I did a full breakdown, tear down of this yesterday at the office and cleaned it up, added some fresh grease. It does not want to run, now that it's kind of broken and smoothed out, it does not want to run the dead air mask suppressor that is quieter on this platform. So I had to go back to the Gemtech, which is a lighter can, which actually feels better on the gun. So this runs in this current config with this can. As I put 500 rounds through it and get it dirty, I can switch over to the dead air mask, which will run super reliable once it kind of slows down and get dirty. But these are things to consider. We've got a Romeo X here, enclosed emitter, so I went for the most mass for this optic ready system. I've got a Surefire X300 Vampire here for shits and giggles. I can't remember whose trigger this is, but this is the aftermarket trigger from another company that makes an aftermarket trigger for it. Tandem cross was out of stock. A couple other things. This gun doesn't like all ammo. The CCI target here that we have, the standard velocity 22 LR CCI target, does not like to run with the factory extractor in this. Tandem cross makes a Taurus TX22 repair kit. So they have a whole little bag of parts to replace everything inside that can break in this gun. And one of those parts is the extractor. And I believe you can buy the extractor separate. Allegedly, from some of our followers, they said that the tandem cross extractor claw that you can drop into this build is the end all be all extractor. It extracts all kinds of ammo, whereas the factory Taurus is a little finicky. So we'll go through why I think it's not extracting, and we'll show you. We have a bunch of different ammo. So let's get some rounds through it, get it dirty, and get it ripping. So it's feeding a new round, but the trigger's dead, so I'm resetting the striker. I did notice as soon as these are clean and stripped down, they don't run, like They're finicky until you get them dirty. All right, there we go. We got lock back. I think it needs more mass because it's outrunning the magazine itself. And with FRT, if you drive that trigger back, you're gonna have issues. You gotta kind of feather it. So if you wanna really just dump it full auto, you gotta find that little sweet spot where you're feeling the reset kick the trigger forward. So you don't wanna just crank it and rip it. But that was 3 magazines, 20 plus rounds per mag. So time to jam up more magazines. We'll go through ammo next. Right here, here's the Federal. This is the case back of the Federal. You can see it's very flat all the way to the very edge of the radius of the rim. Here's the CCI standard velocity 22 target 40 grain. You can see that the surface area of the back of the case is smaller, and you can see the rim of the case has a very long drawn out radius. So the Taurus does not like the CCI, and I'll show you how it runs with the CCI. And this is where maybe the tandem cross extractor works better. We have a little Beretta here that some people are like, well, maybe it's just the ammo, maybe it's just an ammo related thing. I don't necessarily think the CCI has a problem because it works out of all my other guns. It runs the CCI target no problem. And we'll switch over to the Taurus TX22 with the CCI target. Remove the magazine, lock that slide back, and you can see where the firing pin hit the rim of the case. The case is stuck now, it's not extracted, and I have to get a knife in there to pop it loose. So the extractor, there's a witness mark of the extractor on the side of it, and there's some scoring, bore pressed scoring towards the rear of the case. You know, I'm not sure why it's so finicky, but it does not like, there it kind of extracted. You can see it shaved off the whole top of the bullet. And it did burp a couple rounds there. What I also noticed with the CCI, I don't know why, I don't know what's causing it, but when you have a full mag of the CCI, it will not run whatsoever. You'll get those stuck cases. And then when I get down to like the last few in the mag, it runs a little smoother. So that's a CCI. I'm avoiding that. The Federal's been really consistent. The gold medal match 40 grain here, I think it's a little bit more stable, like a consistently loaded ammo. It's a little bit more expensive than the Federal that we're running. This is like, I don't know, 6 cents a round. We're looking closer to like 11 cents a round on the gold medal. But historically it's a little underpowered. So runs really good. So the Federal gold medal match just ran no problem. And what I started with testing first, and this ammo was expensive when I bought it. This is about 16 cents a round for 22, but this is my favorite 22 that's loaded. It's the 40 grain Wolf match that's manufactured in England. And they're all like pre-cosmoline, like they're pre-lubed ammo. This was the ammo that I had 5,000 or 6,000 rounds of bulk. And some of it I might have paid like 38 cents a round when there was a 22 scare. It's sitting around 16 cents a round right now on Target Sports USA if you have an Ammo Plus discount. And this ammo is probably the most consistent, most accurate 22 ammo that I have played with, just historically across the board through all of my other 22s. This is what I hunt squirrels with. This is what I run through my 457 TAC bull barrel suppressed CZ. It's unbelievably accurate stuff, but it's expensive. You know, it's 10 cents more than the Federal, and it starts to add up in your wallet if you're gonna just melt things with an FRT. But with that being said, super duper consistent ammo, runs fantastically. It's loaded really, really well. And there is 21 rounds. Now I gotta just keep loading mags. That's the problem with this gun, is that it just burns ammo. So we're just gonna take off the GM22. I'm gonna show you how it functions with a couple other cans. GM22 is a unibody can. It's not a traditional K baffle style. This is the FN Catch22 TI. This is supposed to be a more flow-through can. So you'd think like a flow-through can would reduce your slide speed a little bit and make this function better. I have not been able to get this can to run really well in this gun, but we'll show it off. So did not extract. Well, that might be an ammo problem. It did extract, sorry. It outran the magazine with back pressure. So, well, it's not resetting the firing pin, the striker. And this is the issue I was having with the cans that kind of runs really fast, but it does have feeding issues. So even for like an advertised more flow through style can, it does have a lot of back pressure and it's kind of outrunning itself. You can hear that cyclic rate is super high with it. Put the dead air mask on. The dead air mask is one of my favorite cans because they are machine gun rated. We have one on our factory FN full auto P90. It's super bombers on that thing. This is the dead air mask. Now, this gun did run the dead air mask super well once it got dirty, grimy, and nasty. Stovepipe on the extraction. Did not recock the striker, recharge the striker. You can hear how quiet this can is though. This is definitely the quietest of the three cans. Which this would be my preferred can if it ran more consistently. It's starting to get a little bit smoother. Just be careful with FRTs, because if you feel that you had a malfunction and as you let the trigger out, sometimes you can freeze that mechanism, and as you're releasing it, it'll go on you. So remember, keep it in a safe direction when you're investigating your trigger. But again, so back to the GM22. Man, having all kinds of issues now. Anyway, I've had a lot of good consistency with this over the last week and a half or so with this setup. Dirty, whatnot. I'm having some issues with it today. I think it's still weight related, like it needs to slow down. It's just way too fast. If you took this slide off, man, this slide weighs nothing. It's a few ounces, that's how much this slide weighs. There's nothing to it. These are the tandem cross extended base plates for the 16 rounders and the factory the factory mags, which are these longer bodied ones. These are like out of stock everywhere you look. So Tandem Cross makes these neat little extended base plates. Again, it's being a little finicky. It's not just I think it just needs more mass to it. I think it's tripping itself up a bit. Why, America, why? Huh. Brace yourself. Grumpy, grumpy, grumpy. Why don't you like me? Of course, the last single shot round at 50 yards dings. Being a little grumpy. Sick! Your scratcher can't. I don't care. So I mean, like, one of the things I really need to do is drill and tap this, try to add some more mass and see if it gets more reliable. Before I broke it down and cleaned it yesterday, which I'm regretting doing, as I was like, oh, you know, I'm gonna break it down and clean it so in the video it's functioning, it's not, parts aren't breaking, I've inspected stuff, blah, 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 blah. I feel like I made a mistake doing that because now it's being a little grumpy. Whereas I had the mask on it and it was running absolutely fantastic with the mask beforehand. So we put the mask back on, we'll see how it runs. See, that's the way this thing was running every time last week. Did I get it dirty enough? See, this is where it needs to be. Dirty ass can, dead air mask. All right, could be magazine related too though. Why do you not love me? Needs more weight, gotta slow it down. What I'm noticing is when the gun's cold and I put a fresh mag in it and the gun's cold, runs great. Second it gets hot, lubricated, everything kind of loosens up, it outruns itself again. So it needs more mass. We will investigate further and see what works most consistently with it, but I think it needs more mass forever. Thank you for watching this video on the Taurus TX22. It's a lot of fun when it runs. Why did I clean it? Why did I clean it? Ugh.